How is everybody doing? How is everybody? So today I wanted to talk to you about Canada, about why, for instance, I would never live in Canada, or why I would never recommend to anyone to move to Canada. And of course, when I say that I would never live in Canada, I mean that all else being equal, meaning if it were up to me. Because you know how life normally goes sometimes. Sometimes you end up in situations that are not of your choosing because of circumstances or because of war or because there are problems where you are, so you are finding yourself in a situation that you don't really want to be. But except that acts of God and national disasters and things like that, why I would never live in Canada. Reason number one is that Canada is not free. I've already made some comments about how in the US, free speech, for instance, is not absolute. I even made an example that there is a Israeli exception to free speech in the United States of America. But Canada is much more worse. And especially if you are a Bible believing Christian, if you need to forget about Canada, that's not a place for you. There is no freedom in Canada. I have friends who live in Canada. I have friends who are pastors in Canada who are having a very difficult time. It's a very horrible place to be for people who believe in free expression and who believe in you living your life according to your convictions. Number one. And number two, that is a matter of cost of living. One could argue that the United States of America and Canada are similar in terms of unaffordable cities. And I would say yes, if by United States of America you mean Democrat run states like California or New York or Illinois. If you are if you live in California, then moving to Canada would basically be the same thing. Both are unaffordable, both are shit shows. So yeah, sure. But if you are living in affordable America, which would be Texas, Florida, Arizona, Georgia, then that's a different story altogether. Yeah, so I don't see why anyone would go to a place where you are not free, but also the cost of living is out of control. And then number three, why I wouldn't move to Canada is the weather. The weather is horrible, absolutely horrible. But any country in the world for me that where it snows 3 to 4, sometimes 5 months in a year, it's absolutely out of the question. Absolutely out of the question. And because even when it's not snowing, even in months that are considered summer, it's still very cold. You still get sub-zero temperatures in so-called summer, or very low, like less than 5 degrees Celsius. Um, I'm just using Celsius here because that's the temperatures that are used internationally. Um, it just doesn't make any sense in terms of the climate. You're gonna be miserable all year round, regardless of where you are. It's the weather in Canada is it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Reason number four why I would never move to Canada is that it's difficult to build a business in Canada. I have friends who are running businesses in Canada, and some of them are earning like low seven figure per year. Some are earning like mid seven figures. Some are earning like low eight figures. And not even a single one of them is happy about the rate of taxes, the rate of regulations. It scores very low in terms of ease of doing business, which again would be similar to if you were living in California, which is absolutely a absolute mess. Yeah. So, but let me just use this illustration. No one moves to Canada and says, "I'm moving to Canada so that I can become rich." No, It doesn't work like that. There are just seemingly no opportunities for anyone who comes from nothing to go from nothing to becoming a multimillionaire in Canada. And if a country does not have a path for someone who comes from nothing to become a multimillionaire, that's not a country that I want to be in. And Canada is one of those. And then there's the issue of Canada doesn't have the right to bear arms. The Supreme Court of Canada confirmed a couple of years ago that there's no constitutional rights to bearing arms in Canada. So absolutely no. And then there's the issue of high taxes. Absolutely no. Yeah. So I know there are people who say that the what is good about Canada is their healthcare system, which is free. No, it's not free. You are paying it through these high taxes that you are paying. Number one, and number two, at least 50,000 people a year die in Canada waiting to receive life-saving operations because that is the cost that you have to pay for having socialized medicine. But more importantly, the very rich in Canada, when they need an operation, they go over the border to New York City to get an operation. Because if they were to wait in Canada to get an operation, they might wait up to 2 to 3 years. So I think for me, for everything that matters to me, there is absolutely no way in hell, no way in hell I would voluntarily, of my own volition, under no compulsion because of other circumstances, find myself in a bad place like Canada. Absolutely no way. Absolutely no chance. No chance in hell. With that said, let me know what you think. Would you move to Canada? Which countries in the West would you never move to? Let me know below in the comments. Cheers.